Hi, my friends. I'm Dr. Stephen Clark Bradley, and this is what I think. This is part 2 of what we were studying about the Transition Integrity Project. It's so interesting, the title they give this thing, trying to deceive people, because there's not an ounce of integrity in any of it. Just the opposite thereof. But the Integrity Project has the goal of, as we said before, of not just preventing Donald Trump's reelection, which I had said would be normal. That would be normal. That's the goal of every opponent, is to prevent their opponent from getting elected. But it's the goal of, even after he's elected, preventing him from taking control of his second administration and leading the country for 4 more years. But we're going to stop that. It's interesting. They have accused Donald Trump of being Vladimir Putin's best friend for 4 years now. And in fact, they are playing right out of the Putin handbook exactly what he does. I'm surprised if they haven't tried to hurt him physically, which I pray God it won't happen, but it might, because these people are going for keeps, but they don't realize it. So are we. We're playing for keeps too, and we won't let them take our country away like that. They're also hoping that they can cause Donald Trump supporters to stop supporting him. They don't realize we're dedicated. I don't support Donald Trump because he's Donald Trump. I support Donald Trump because he supports me. I'm the head of the government. You're the head of the government. We're the ones that run the government, and he is our voice. If Donald Trump stopped speaking the words of the people who run the government, you and me, I wouldn't support him anymore. So they're going to try to say that he cheated, he lied, he won with falsely and illegally and all that dishonestly, but it won't work, because we know it won't happen, and we also know which party really engages in such things. Okay, dead people vote all the time in Democrat Party. What's the famous words of the Democrat Party? Vote early, vote often. And they do. It's sad. It's a party. There is no integrity in that party. There is no integrity in this project. So let me just go through here and tell you a little bit about who's part of this project. In the Transition Integrity Project is made up of academics, journalists, former officials, politicians, people who have been elected to office. And so the head of the project, the one that really set it up, is Rosa Brooks, who is a law professor at Georgetown and former Pentagon senior official. Think about it. She's part of the military. Isn't that scary? Niles Gilman, former vice chancellor of the University of California, Berkeley. That's not shocking. Yeah, they've always been traitors, and they still are. And then also, if we look at it, now this is where it gets shocking. I had some pause as I read through these as I was studying. Michael Steele, do you remember him? He's someone I've always respected. Didn't always agree with him, but he's an African-American Republican who was the lieutenant governor of Delaware. And he was also the former chair of the RNC, the Republican National Committee. Can you believe that? And he's on this committee trying to get rid of the president, who is from his own party. Hard to understand, hard to believe, but sadly true. Also, John Podesta. I'm sure he fits in nicely. He should be there. He's a really very seriously flawed person. And he's Bill Clinton's former chief of staff, and was also the campaign manager for Hillary Clinton. And it was his computer records, email, that was hacked, and which ended up giving so much material to the opponents, because they were hacked. So so he's on this. Of course, he's very bitter, very angry, and he would like to get rid of Donald Trump. Donald Trump didn't hack him. And Donald Trump didn't open up his computer to them. He did. John Podesta did. He's on this committee as well. Jennifer Granholm is the former Michigan governor. governor of Michigan, involved in committing treason. Probably not much better than the current Michigan governor herself. Trey Grayson, former Kentucky Secretary of State. Hard to believe, but true. Yeah, all politicians. Donna Brazile, Democrat National Committee acting chair. She took over when they had some breakdown in their committee, and now she's on Fox. She even appears on the Five. I mean, I can't accept her. I actually went to her Twitter, and I just wrote, I said, Donna, I've always enjoyed listening to you, never really agreed with you, but you're smart, clever, good-looking person. But I'm so ashamed, and for me, you're a traitor to the nation, what you're trying to do to our president. Go out and beat him. Go out and work hard. Beat him fair and square. I'll never criticize you. But what you're trying to do, I told her, makes you a traitor. And you're committing treason, and you should be arrested. That's what I told her. Of course, I got no reply back. I never will. Bill Kristol, as I said earlier, unbelievable. Great journalist, great commentator, strong Republican, strong conservative, but a neocon. And because he's a never-Trumper, he cannot allow Trump to even win fair and square and take on a second administration seeking to commit insurrection against the American people and against the government. Edward Luce, Financial Times, Washington Bureau Chief, American author. Very well-known writer, and you would never think that he would be involved in something like this. Max Boot is an editorial lecturer and military historian. Very aware, has amazing military connections. David Frum, Canadian-American political commentator and former speechwriter for George W. Bush. Hard to believe, isn't it? These people who have been at the very center of our government, and at the very center of the media, and at the very center of the Democrat Party, are all involved in this, trying to bring down the President of the United States for a second administration. As I said not long ago, I actually read and saw articles on Fox News where they've actually said that they would not permit a second administration, and that they would send out so many people into the streets to fight and to attack and to cause so much chaos that the people would relent and finally say, okay, you can have the president, we won't fight. Does that sound stupid? No. That's the nature of humanity. Unfortunately, humans are this way. And they know it. And they're using this to try to stop Donald Trump, not from winning so much, but after he wins, not from taking power in a second administration. It's called treason. I've said it many times. I'm going to say it more. It's treason. Nothing less than treason. Now, the way that what they have done in their meetings here is they have conducted different, what they call war games. In these war games, they actually have different scenarios that play out. And in the war games, they actually try to figure out how can, in this scenario, how can we make sure that whatever happens, Donald Trump wins in this scenario, wins the election, or loses in the election, he never takes power. That's what they're playing out. And now we're only weeks away, and these now are starting to come out into the public. They're starting to get the public used to the idea because they're going to start implementing it. And that's why it's so important I get this information out to you quickly. War Game 1. We're going to go through these war games in this video and move on from there in the next video. In War Game 1, the scenario of that war game was an uncertain victory by Biden. In this scenario, it says the election is uncertain from the beginning of the war game until the end of election night. Means it looks like Biden may have won, but nobody's for sure. There's no clear margin of victory and no clear assurance that he actually was elected president. So these are the points that they laid out here. It says, because of unlawful harvesting of ballots, and because they will insist that all fake ballots be counted. See, they know that they've been harvested. They know they're not legal. They know they're fake, but they will insist they all get counted. They will use them so that Biden can become the victor in the states where he and Donald Trump are close. Interesting, huh? Now, maybe that helps you understand why Donald Trump is fighting so hard against mail-in ballots. Because he knows they'll be harvested. And they're going out to people that are dead, dogs. I'm not joking. They really are. So this has already started. And it says they will use them to help him win the close states. And the states that are in dispute, they will insist that more ballots be counted, even ballots that have been sent in after the deadline. That's what they're planning. Yeah. And you know, Democrats have no conscience. They'll push and push and push, and they'll try to make the general public in the United States think they're right and that Donald Trump is trying to cheat when he says no. That no matter what the tally will be at the end, they will insist that Joe Biden won, no matter what. 2, War Game 2, a certain clear Biden victory. All right, they say that Trump campaign will want to federalize the National Guard to further the vote counting. And that the supporters of Donald Trump will be out on the street. See, they're wrong, you know. You would agree with me, I'm sure. If it's clear on election night, it would break my heart and I'll be in tears. I'm sure you will be too. But if it's clear that Joe Biden won and that Donald Trump lost and that there's no irregularities in the tallies or in the ballots, I know Donald Trump will concede and will say, okay, I did my best. But they think we will go out and riot. We're not Democrats. They're the only ones that do that. So they're wrong on that. But they are counting on us doing that. That way we can show. But if there are irregularities, if we can prove that ballots have been cheated, have been counted, or that ballots that came in after the deadline are being counted. Now, if they have the postmark before the deadline, I agree they should be counted. But ballots that are turned in after the deadline, they will insist that they be counted too. On those, we must fight. So we must stand up and be willing to fight back. So in that case, the only way we would fight back is if we know, and it's clear and evident, cheating, irregularities, and false ballots, then we have to fight. War Game 3. Donald Trump has a clear electoral victory, but did not win the popular vote, just like in 2016. So they're counting on this situation that Donald Trump would have the victory in the electoral college, but not in the popular vote. So then, in that case, in order to fight his case, and they are fighting him, the media, all social media, they are counting on to be suspended for Donald Trump. And all mainline media, like NBC, ABC, CNN, all those fake media sites, they will not report anything that he needs to communicate with his people. And so he'll be blind. And then they can put out all the lies they want for him. That's what they're counting on. And so in that case, they could just paint it that he's a liar and make the American people turn against him. It's hard to believe, but that's what they're counting on. And that's what's happening. And that's what's about to take place unless we're aware of it. So I've been trying my best to make you aware of it. And I'll be doing that in successive videos coming up. And so I'll give you this something to chew on until my next video comes to you. Thank you so much. I hope you'll continue watching. I really appreciate it.